It's a privilege to be able to choose which charities to support as Mayoress. However, it also brings a major dilemma. There is so much good charity work going on within Pendle. Which charities do you choose? As Deputy Mayor and Mayoress, we were asked to take part in a walk organised by the Stroke Association in Victoria Park. We couldn't help noticing how good the park looked, and after visiting several parks in the area, realised that Pendle Parks look so good. As a result of the Friends of the Parks groups throughout Pendle, we saw people quietly working away. So the dilemma was over. Not only would we raise funds for the projects that the groups wanted to undertake, but it would be recognition and celebration of their work. The Philip Wright Bowling Academy provides free coaching to all, keeping the bowling greens alive. Plus, they go into schools and encourage children to respect our parks, which we thought was wonderful. Hopefully, we will attract more people to join the Friends groups. And by supporting the Friends, we're also indirectly supporting other charities and community organisations who regularly use the parks for activities. The parks are for everybody, beautiful places to visit. They provide fun, de-stressing, exercise, sports, family outings, dog walking and more. Please support the Friends of Pendle's Parks.
It's the only park in Briarfield. We've got volunteers coming in today to do a deep clean of the park, and that's where we get into areas where litter pickers can't really get into, so we'll clear back some shrubs and get deep into the shrub beds and clear some of the rubbish just to make the park nice for people to visit.
It's not an easy job sometimes, but it's very calming, and it tells a story of the people that come into the park or the area that you're litter picking. Old cans and old pop bottles. It's actually there from years gone by that hasn't actually been picked up.
This is one way of meeting people, keeping yourselves physically active and doing your bit for the local environment and community.
Wolverden Park alongside Wolverden Water, which once supplied Valley Mills, was opened in 1900 and planted with woodland trees, but no understory of shrubs. Now some of the older trees have to be felled, and hundreds of bushier specimens have been planted, and wild flowers which bloom in the spring and summer are being encouraged. All through the year, wonderful chainsaw sculptures keep a watchful eye on visitors. Once the home of a wealthy local family, these grounds were acquired by Nelson Council and opened to the public in 1912. Marsden is the largest of Nelson's Park and contains significant architectural features.
And I'm a park volunteer. I keep my eye on, kids on school holidays and litter picking mainly, and cutting back branches that are overhanging the paths.
Anyone got a boat?
But it's open all the way around, isn't it, down there?
The oldest and one of the most popular parks, with folk coming to enjoy it from outside the borough, Good for children and easy to spot wildlife, Victoria Park also has the wide open spaces for public events. Volunteer work includes maintenance of woodland walks. Barrowford Memorial Park, here approached through the Pendle Heritage Centre and signs of Pendle's association with witches. It's ideal for easy walking round its lake and a place to reflect on the sacrifices made by the locals in 2 world wars.
It was left to the people of Barrowford as a memorial after the First World War. We're a small but select group. We try to look after the parts that the council can't get round to doing. In this border we actually got a grant for, and we've put quite a few plants in, but we're just replenishing those plants at the moment.
We brought some Montbretia from our garden, which was spread too much, so we're hoping they'll bring some colour to the park.
I have to do the heavy lifting and do exactly as I'm told.
So we try to have a really good working relationship with Pendle Council Parks Department because they're really, really helpful, and we try to work together.
We're trying to improve the quality of the water, and we're looking forward to making some progress with the lake.
Greenfield Nature Reserve, sandwiched between the M65 and Pendle Water, is nonetheless well worth visiting. Volunteers help maintain this natural site with a variety of wildlife.
We're here this morning to actually clear up some rubbish fly tipping. People have been growing cannabis and dumping the residue from the plants and in plastic bags over the fence there.
We're members of a litter picking group, Pick Up for Pendle. This morning we're assisting Pendle Council Parks Department in Alkingford. Need a hand with that mattress.
Litter picking here takes on a new dimension.
We're at Alkin Courts today and we're just going to have a little wander around the park and the nature reserve. Basically we're just doing an event just to get people out and about and into the park really. Because I mean it's surrounded by houses and not a lot of the people will actually enter the park, so it's just a case of getting folk into the park and just showing them what we're all about really. Yeah, I've walked past and accidentally scared one. It scared me as well.
We are volunteers for the Philip Wright Bowling Academy. We came to take over the green and look after it and maintain it about 2.5 years ago. We now maintain both greens and all the area around the cafe. The wonderful daffodils and everything you can see are part of the planting system that we put in. In some of these gardens have dahlias and begonias in, and it's something that we do 52 weeks of the year and we enjoy it.
Like all the parks in this film, Bullgrove Country Park maintains its green flag status. The lake once supplied a tannery on the site. Fishing is encouraged. Park staff and volunteers gather to work on the paths, which are the start of the Ferndine Way to Wycoller and beyond.
And this put it got overgrown over the years. So last month we started and we got to about here, cutting back the hedgerows and just getting back to the gravel. It allows the fishermen to be able to fish without actually fear of falling into the water. Just a couple of hours once a month.
This gem in the heart of Barlick has its own dedicated team, looking after not only the planting and litter, but the former lead as well. It fed mills that once worked downstream and is now handy for watering.
I'm speaking on behalf of the Valley Gardens working group, but there are approximately 8 of us most of the time. The main objective was prompted by the people of Barnolds, who, when we asked what particularly they would like in the Valley Gardens, they said more colour, and rather than it just being a park, that there are some plants and flowers in there. And Joyce and Ian Holgate particularly, have taken that on board, and I think you can probably see the result. So the benches, which we've been assisted by Housing Pendle, and we thank them very much obviously for their assistance. And the bird boxes are, strangely enough, because sparrows, one of the most common species in my childhood, is now an endangered species, so we're trying to do something about that.